capabilities that we have limit ourselves on, like fear or lack of confidence. When facing new challenges, we always think that we can never succeed, even before we try, because no one has done it before. In fact, capabilities, characters, and ideas should be constantly challenged in order for us to break loose to reach higher potentials. So let's discuss and explore possibilities, potentials beyond our limit, and imagination together in this forum discussion. Let's unleash our limitless capabilities. My name is Guma Sylvester Makajo, a MASA representative and a Part 1 student. I'll be your co-moderator for today. So first of all, I'd like to thank Archidex 2021 for giving us an opportunity to conduct this session. We are pleased to have this collaboration with Archidex. To begin with, let's welcome our moderator, technologist Sharzi, currently a lecturer and a researcher at the Faculty of Architecture and Built Environment in Infrastructure University, Kuala Lumpur. Sharzi's teaching portfolio of 10 years includes undertaking teaching responsibilities, academic leadership responsibilities, curriculum design development, and accreditation for Bachelors of Science in Architecture and Master of Architecture. Involvement in research and scholarly activities and involvement in teaching, learning, and quality assurance of the university. His collective experience has led to his appointment as a member of the Malaysian Institute of Architects, PAM Education Community Board, Board of Architects Malaysia, or LAM, and ICOMOS, Malaysia, and international member. Currently, technologist Sharzi is leading an exciting national level under Malaysian Ministry of Education grants project on urban heritage initiative that explore the identity of traditional towns, or as known as royal towns in Malaysia, and the influence to the Southeast Asia traditional royal towns. Sharzi's role plays in assisting government agencies such as Plan Malaysia and local authorities, giving opinions, views, and solutions to the development framework and guidelines of the Malay royal towns in Malaysia. Okay, technology Sir Sharzi, are you here today?
Yes.
Hi, how are you today?
Yeah, good. How are you, Guma?
I'm great. So, all right, I'll pass the floor to you now.
Okay. Thanks, Guma, and also your co-moderator, Vinci. Okay. Good afternoon, participant and audience. Welcome to Beyond's Limit Roundtable Discussion Sessions, organized by Malaysian Architecture Student Alliance, MASA, and supported by PAM Education Committee. My name is T.S. Sharizi Muhammad Shukri, as have been presented just now introduced by the Guma. Okay, I'm a lecturer and researcher from the Infrastructure University Kuala Lumpur and also PAM Education Committee. And today I will be serving you as the moderator. All right, now moving to our session. All right, please welcome the spotlight of the day, Mr. Muhammad Faizal bin Mamat. All right. Mr. Muhammad Faizal, a holder of a Bachelor of Architecture from University Malaysia of Technology, UTM Johor. He is having a high love of Malay architecture and devoting himself to 3D visual arts, specialized in documenting and treasuring of Malay architecture, including also translating the old manuscript into 3D visual arts. Among the and studies that have been now based on the classics description in the Kitab Sejarah Melayu, or we call it as a Malay Annals, and also from the Hikayat Hang Tuah, and also the collection of Malay Royal Palace based on the royal family records for the purpose of preserving the heritage of Malay traditional architecture. Okay, now, good afternoon, Mr. Faizal.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. How are you today?
Alhamdulillah. I'm good.
Looks like we are having some technical difficulties. Let's wait for a bit for technology Sharzi. Mr. Sharzi, are you back?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So participant and audience, okay, please sit back and relax. We will have a Q&A session at the end of the talks of this session. But if you have any question during the sharing, feel free to type them down in the chat box so we can attend to them at the end of the sharing. Now, Mr. Faisal, the floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you to all of you. First of all, my name is Faisal bin Muhammad Elias Rahmat. First of all, I would like to say 1,000 thanks and my deepest appreciation to Archidex 2021 and myself for giving me the opportunity to be a part of you today. In fact, it's been years I haven't made a presentation in public, and this is honestly among the first after 15 years, maybe. In fact, I myself have forgotten how to produce a slide presentation, so please pardon me in advance if you find something not at your pleasure. Honestly, I'm a little scared to face to all of you today, but I know to have this kind of such an opportunity is once of a lifetime. So no matter how scared I am right now, I'm trying my best to make the most of it. Some introduction about me. First of all, a little bit background of myself. I'm starting with at the end of the 2014. I'm quitting the position of an architectural firm, including also when the side income was unsuccessful, and in the end, I decided to return to my hometown in Pekan, Pahang. My mother was diagnosed with a lung cancer as soon as I returned to the village, and has been taking care of her ever since for 6 months. To fill my free time while taking care of her, I started designing 3D Kota Melaka little by little. My mother passed away in May 2015, just before Ramadan that year, in the same year. At the same time, taking care of my own mother began to experience pain and swelling in my legs. Returned to Kuala Lumpur to work in one of the largest architecture firms in Malaysia, but also unbiased fate happened when I being used by certain parties for personal gain. I tried to resume freelance again, but at the same time, the food disease condition worsened. Limited. I got very limited on financial, so that's resulting difficult to get treatment due to my payment from freelance work that are just enough to eat and pay rent as well as bills. I tried again to get a job in architectural firm, but the condition of the office location was far away, and this time it really worsened the condition of my legs to the maximum, to the point of having to take a lot of sick leave and eventually being fired by my employer. The financial situation was dire that I had to move out of a rental house and start renting a budget hotel room for several months. By this time, I was no longer able to walk, and I was helped by a good friend who has taken care of me to this day. But still, also try make 3D rendering work even instead of enduring pain every second and every hour. Diagnosed with the peripheral vascular syndrome, a neurological disease that caused my blood vessel to narrow and clog, also resulted in wound that cannot be cured. As a result of the because of the financial difficulties, that resulting, I always delaying the treatment for my leg, which it leads to after 6 months after that, it leads to amputation of my left leg. So safe to say right now, I'm an OKU. But then, Alhamdulillah, thanks to God, after the amputation, my health getting better, even though I still have the nerve disease. Right now, I'm doing my full. Can you consider I am doing full-time freelance and 3D rendering work, because that's following my advice of my doctor that I have to work from home until I get my my physiotherapy done. Right now, besides doing 3D rendering work for architectural and interior, I also writing books about 3D rendering especially, and also traditional buildings, especially in Malay architecture. And from time to time, I involved in the projects, with design projects. I have a great love for Malay culture in general, and of course of Malay architecture in particular, including the history of Malay civilization. The opportunity to further my studies in UTM Skudai Johor seemed to offer an opportunity for me to deepen this tendency. The 3D model of Kota Melaka is based on the information why I involved in the proposal project to the list of Melaka into UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2004. And apart from that, is my own personal study, effort and incentive reading of classical Malay manuscript, translating it into modern script, also analysis of record from Portuguese and Dutch. I was also given an opportunity to be involved in the interior design project with several palaces in Malaysia, such as Istana Besar Johor Bahru for the crowning ceremony of the current Sultan of Johor, Sultan Ibrahim, in 2015, and collaboration with Datuk Rizman Ibrahim, a celebrated Malaysian fashion designer and also interior designer, which a dear friend to Her Majesty the Queen. The project is in conjunction with the coronation of the Duli Yang Maha Mulia Sri Paduka Baginda Ye Betul Agong of the 16th in 2019. Okay. My presentation today is divided into 3 sections, which all 3 will focus on my work that have brought me here today to you. Firstly, I would like to introduce the most beloved, the longest time that I have taken to do this, the Kota Melaka in 3D. A set of 3D illustration based on the description of the Kitab Sejarah Melayu, also known as Sulalatus Salatin, or in English we call the Malay Annals, written by Tun Sri Lanang, the Bendahara of Kerajaan Johor Lama in the 16th century. The picture is the state of the Kota Melaka, which is famous in its golden days until it fell in the hand of Portuguese, and between 1459 until 1511, during the reign of Sultan Mansur Shah, up until the reign of Sultan Mahmud and the last ruler of Malacca, Sultanate Empire. The empire officially ended when Sultan Mahmud died in 1528. The visualization of the prosperity of Kota Melaka Fort and complex of the Majestic, and also the focus of this 3D, the Majestic Istana Melaka on top of the hill, the Istana called Istana Mahligai, on top of the hill, Sandfall, which is now called Sandfall Hill, and separated by the Malacca River during the reign of Sultan Mansur Shah. This is the detailed close-up of the architecture of the palace, the crown jewel of the 3D. The palace of the Sultan of Melaka is described in Kitab Sejarah Melayu. I have to take certain phrases that it leads to the main point for me to design the palace, which this is among of them. The palace was exceedingly beautiful. Was the execution of with no other palace in the whole world like it. And among other than Kitab Sejarah Melayu, also from the Portuguese itself, the richest trading port that possessed the wealth and the most numerous shipping and extensive traffic that known to all the world, as according to the Duarte Barbosa, 16th century Portuguese journalist. And also, this is the biggest one from Portuguese itself. He who the Lord of Malacca, like having his hand at the throat of this empires, Suma Oriental. This is another part of the visualization of the 3D Kota Melaka, which is the interior of the throne hall. The visualization of the Balairong Sri, the throne hall of Istana Mahligai, from the passage taken from Hikayat Hang Tuah, because there's no description about the Balairong Sri from the Kitab Sejarah Melayu, which state the position, layout of the districts, the appearance of the throne arrangement and the ceremonies where the Sultan received guests. The throne itself is concept of the seven layers of heaven and earth, and the symbolize the cosmological element of Mount Mahameru and resemble of eight-sided growing lotus flower. This is all related to the origin of the line of Malay royals that comes to the Salendra heritage. Other from translating from the classical text, I also, apart from the adaptation and translation of the description from the classical text, I also include the principle of urban study in comparison to several others, also doing some comparison to several other historic cities around the world, such as Batavia, the old Jakarta, and Venice. This is a few from the tree view at nighttime. I try to visualize it with the traditional lighting. And I'm so thankful that Kota Melaka has received wide coverage, such as from our Malaysian newspaper, Harian Metro. Apart from that, also websites such as Malaysia Now and the Malay Mails. And currently, like 2 months ago, 2 months ago, apart from the local newspaper and website, 3D Kota Melaka also have been published in the History Journal from Germany, Geo-Epoch from May 2021 edition, Southeast Asian History edition, in an article about the Malay Sultanate of Malacca. And also, lastly, the Ministry of Education in Malaysia has also recognized the 3D Kota Melaka and has now been used as an illustration for the history subject learning module for secondary school in Malaysia. Okay, the second chapter will be my collection, traditional Malay houses in 3D. Starting with the little background about this collection, starting with the collaboration project with Kalam UTM. Kalam UTM, for those who didn't know, is a center of Malaysian architecture Malay study to keep the measured drawing collection in UTM, and also collaboration with the Johor State Museum. Is a project about to digitize 10 traditional Johor houses selected from the collection of measured drawing study of UTM Architecture School architecture student. Seeing the public reaction to this effort, the work of digitizing traditional houses continued with traditional houses from other states in Malaysia. The traditional Malay houses collection includes types of Malay houses from the type of bumbung panjang, which is the pre-colonial Malay house type, to limas roof type, which is a roof type introduced during the colonial period, and also tries to get the version of both types of roof from every state in Malaysia. Currently, and still counting, I already done about 14 houses. This is also not only, I try to my best not only just do the houses, but I try to resemble the scenery, the surrounding of the house with the kampung scenery. I tried also the scenery. I try to reflect from each state. So more or less, you can tell this is from what state, from this what state, from the appearance of the geographical condition. My approach taken in working of this visual of these Malay houses is, apart from meeting the characteristic, the type of the house is also important to include the elements of human behavior, emotional elements, and feelings. Through this element, the 3D can only explain the architectural language of the building, but also it's like telling a story. Or perhaps even better, even you can, if to people that are going to see it, they can recalling some part of a memory about the picture that they saw. And this is the third part of my presentation today, the collection of Istana of Malay Ruler in 3D. It's an effort to collect the treasure of Malay royal palace that focuses more on study of architectural language, which now only exists through old photos and archive of the royal family and traditional Malay aristocrats. Because, as you may notice, some of the palace no longer we can see today, only available in photos. I intended to collect the architectural treasure of the palace, which is where the merging the architectural styles in architecture and the cost of the country, which contribute to the country's history, which is difficult to see outwardly when most of them have disappeared due to the time for the sake of benefits either for architectural visualization or study of Malay traditional architecture. And this is among the collection that I've done, like Kota Lama Duyung in Kuala Terengganu, Istana Lama Sri Menanti Kuala Perak Negeri Sembilan, Istana Makotopuri, I think this is among the rarest because this is no longer Istana Makotopuri in Kelang, Selangor, and this is from my hometown, Istana Lebang Tunggal Pekan Pahang. And also this one, the Istana Sri Aka is demolished, no longer there since 1970s. And Istana Cempaka Sari, this is quite special because it's like from the 3D Kota Melaka because it's taken from the classical Malay text. I translated it into modern and into 3D. And also Istana Bandar Tamasha Jugra Selangor. This is okay. This one is the longest to complete. Even today, I haven't still finished it because so many detailings to cover. And another palace from my hometown, Istana Sri Terentang. Also, this one is demolished. Okay. The idea of the collecting of this collection of Malay palaces in digital form started when looking at a large collection of photos and documents about these palaces, which is very limited to get a clear picture. Even worse, when some of these palaces have already collapsed or destroyed, or is it even more possible to get information about them? The approach taken in building these 3D models of the palace will try its best to make the feature as found in the old photograph, as well as explanation through royal documents or even oral information received from members of the royal family from each state. And these two palaces also no longer because at least it's destroyed in 18th century, like Istana Marhum Mansur in Bukit Puteri, Kuala Terengganu, and also the below one is Istana Negara Bukit Chandan. As a conclusion to my presentation today, in the life of human being, there will definitely happen where the individual will go through a difficult and predictable journey with circumstances that at times almost cause us to despair and continue living. There are also times when what happened will deviate from what we dream or we plan. There are also times when we have to disappoint our families and those who love us, who expect us to grant their hopes. Then this is where we need a divine hold that can prevent us from continuing to follow the demands of the sense of frustration. Also believe that everything that happened is for our good as well, because we as human beings, as great as we are still God's servants who are entitled to us for everything. Do not neglect the importance of the people those who love you at all times. Love yourself before you give up everything on something that is uncertain. This is an asset for us to wake up after a fall. Always seeing this as always seeing what is happening, bad or good, is for us to always to improve ourselves. It is also important to have a dream, to contribute something to society, religion, and country, with which you have achieved your ambition, be it your wealth, ideas, or experience. When we are able to contribute something to those who are around you, this is said to be the real success. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Muhammad Faizal, for addressing these interesting topics. All right. What are impressive and a great works. Okay, I really admire whatever that you have done, that you have shown and present to us now. Okay. Okay, by then, now I open the floor to the participants who feel like wants to respond to the topic, please raise up your hand and open your mic. But before you speak, please do some introduce about yourself. Okay, so now I welcome Mr. Afan Hamzan. Please unmute yourself.
Hi, Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
Hi, Encik Faizal. I think
Hi.
I'm your super junior.
From UTM, is it?
Yeah, I'm from UTM. So I currently first year for master student part 2.
Mhm.
So actually I looking up your work at Facebook actually. So I don't know you from UTM actually. So this is one first time I heard. So I want to ask about because you do the 3D making and rendering for the 15 years, I'm mistaken. So how you put the student as freelance, which means the beginner, the amateur or the expert, the pricing for we offer to the client.
Okay. Um, this is how I deal with this. Okay. I usually take matter the big consideration is about how many hours you spend for the 3D itself, and then especially the time that going to take to render one picture, because doing 3D the rendering is take a long time, and during the rendering is in processing you cannot do anything, right? You have to wait. So that's mean you already invest some hours into that project. That's one thing. Also, you have to when you got the brief project about the 3D, you have to evaluate yourself. I mean, the tendency of complexity of the model that required from your client. Okay, that's one thing, and also the duration, the timeline that given from your client to you.
Okay, Mr. Afan, I hope that answer your question. Okay, next I go to Mr. Lo Ziyang.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Faisal, we love your work a lot. I'm one of the member of the Kuala Lumpur Urban Sketches. So what we do is literally to sketch out the city. We hope to show the beauty of Malaysia captured in lines and also colors. So what you are doing is amazing because, even in the modern setting with modern buildings being torn down, if we have sketched it in our paper, we feel sad for the building. So it's so good for you to capture the beauty of these old buildings that we'll never be able to see and we'll never be able to sketch. But here you are recreating it for the world to see. So thank you for that. Yeah, amazing work.
Thank you so much.
Okay, next, anyone? Okay, Mr. Christopher Yah, I'm correct?
Yes, hello, hi, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Hi, thank you, Encik Faizal, for that very interesting display. I think in Malaysia, we're actually losing a lot of our traditional heritage buildings, and in replacement for efficient, modern, modular systems. So going through those 3D in detail, you've obviously identified all the traditional impact and traditional influence that comes to the designs. How do we, as a Malaysian architect, how do we maintain our heritage in terms of architecture moving forward? Like any things that we can learn from all these heritage houses? What's your opinion on that?
Actually, to me personally, when I'm doing this set of collection about Malaysian heritage architecture, it's not just about we learn about architecture. We learn more than that. We are going to learn about culture, about human behavior, how history has shaped our country from the beginning of time until today. And then even you can know about the social study, everything about it, just from doing the collection of Malaysian traditional architecture in 3D. I figured it out. I figured that actually. So through this, it's a very important for student. Yeah, everybody wants to create their own styles in for modern day in their upcoming project or whatever. But still, some part of it you have to still hold your heritage, your history, your background in it. It's a very strong back. It can give you a very strong background for you, even though you are doing a modern style architecture, or you create your own style in future. It's very important.
Yeah, I agree. It's important. So, yeah, I guess we all have to bear in mind like our Malaysian identity, not to become a monotonous
Yeah.
society, a monotonous skyline in a way.
Because because if we notice how our traditional architecture, that's the reflection of how the society people, how the history shape that. So that's the architecture is the production of the history that shape us.
So in our current modern designs, in let's say for example KL, do you think we're adopting some of these traditional concepts and roots in our designs, or are we straying away and becoming more like Dubai, which is a more metropolitan city that's devoid of a lot of culture?
Okay, one of the things, realizing the importance of history is very important to us, but also we have to realize we cannot only stand on the emotion element. I mean, beside we realizing about the importance of history, we also have to realize the importance of economics, about moving forward, about the modern society, because we're moving forward, we're not moving backwards. So this kind of element need to combine together. As for the matter of the urban design of Kuala Lumpur, we already got that pattern, that language. But as an architect, as a designer, we can contribute better things as our understanding and based on our ability.
Agree. Yeah, we should combine it. It should be a balance. Thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Christopher. Okay, next we have a question. We have a question from the Mr. Adeline, right?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Muhammad Adlin, currently doing my master's in architecture at UPM. So, Encik Faizal, I have to say what an amazing work of not just imagination, but the portrayal and the research done behind it. So, I think it's truly inspiring to see that amidst all the hardship that you have gone through, your work eventually got the recognition that it deserves. So, I kind of wish all Malaysians have this romantic spirit from you. You know, your 3D drawings truly kind of make me wish I myself can be inside and experience these istanas. So my question is, how can we implement this conservation spirit within our current society? Because I mean, you are quite an example of history in a sense that if we want to look forward, sometimes we have to look back in implementing the spirit. So I agree, we have to move forward. But what is the key spirit within architects that we should have to keep going as I'm not sure as an identity or what kind of spirit that we should have,
I mean,
or attitude?
I think that we have to go back to the objective why we learn history, so we can learn what's wrong and what's right, what that already happened. Because if we realize what happened today or in future or currently, actually it's repeating itself from what happened in history. Only that the context or the character that inside the story is changed, but the root of the event or the things is just repeating itself. So the objective things is about history is we learn and take the responsibility about what happened, and just make sure we don't repeat the mistakes again in future, and contribute something better based on what happened in the future, especially in as architects or designer, we can do it in our own way, or contribute to the more better residential facility, perhaps, or urban design, perhaps, something like that.
Yeah, I agree. All right, thank you so much, Cik Faizal.
Yeah, thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, Mr. Adlin. Okay, now I pass the floor to Mr. Abdul Rahim. Cik Rahim.
Yeah. Assalamualaikum, Sarizi.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
Doing good today.
Yeah.
Assalamualaikum, Cik Faizal.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah.
First thing, I think congratulations to it's not just a very, very good job, but it's a very big job done. And I'm happy to see all the reception and recognition that you have received, To me, what really catch me today is how after going through all these, we say the low points in life. I mean, I don't mean to be rude whatsoever. Not we all have our low point, high points, middle point whatsoever. Not,
Yeah.
You've gone through such a challenge, but then you really take care of your mother. Those are, really, really good thing to do. And having gone through all that, and then be where you are today, I think my simple question is what is the biggest drive that push you, or that pull you to keep doing, I read through the brief of your lives. I say, wow, that is not everybody able to pull through and then still climb up the hill and be at the top. What would be one biggest factor for that? I mean, hopefully that will be learning for all of us. Thank you.
Okay. There's a part when that happened in my life. There's a part, not once, but actually it happened so many times that I said, I think I'm done about this life. I want to end everything. I just want to lie down, because I thought during that time I was being left behind from people, from my family, from my friends and everything. But Alhamdulillah, when I keep saying that, but in the same time, God sent this instinct inside of me, which said, I have endured this kind of pain, but still, I still can, I still can think, I still can do my work. That's mean, it's something what we Muslim believe, that God will not give you this kind of burden if you cannot bear it. We believe that, isn't it? So this saying, which is the biggest element, which is later, I figure out myself that there must be some reason, which is why I still here. Because with this kind of faith, I still can do work, which is I'm a strong person. That's mean I'm a strong person. So, and also important that when I have a dear friend to me, that the one that be taking care of me until today, that said, actually you are a very strong person. This is a very strong asset. This is very, very valuable asset for us to have, which is they are going to tell you. Actually, you already know about yourself, but sometimes you need someone to tell you that, isn't it? And then this kind of thing that at the time which I have this kind of thought, so I have to rise again. I have to do something. At first, I'm doing this kind of this collection of 3D is not for to entertain people. I mean, not to show off to people. I just to feel, I got no jobs, I got no project coming in. So this is my hobby. Actually, it started as a hobby. But the thing is, of course, when it's hobby, you're going to love it, isn't it? You're going to love that thing. That means that's your hobby. So in the same time, when you love something, you're doing it with passion. So Alhamdulillah, when I show it to the in Facebook, there in Submit or somewhere, when the reaction people that say, wow, I didn't expect to get that kind of expectation. So this is also make me. So that's I can go more. I can do more. Just do whatever do. And I also believe the saying that art is never finished. To me personally, the Kota Melaka is never finished. Actually, it's never finished until now. So that's how to motivate me until today.
Okay, so that means the point of motivation is whether you just keep going. I mean, as long as you have the life in us, and it doesn't. So the limit is not really a limit.
Yeah.
And the limit is not really a limit. All right.
Life is a battle.
Yes.
If you're the one who not to thought about it, who would it be?
I think that's good because I do some training on motivation and all that to high school, university students, and even to office. And not many time in the when we prepare for our training that we meet a person in life rather than sometimes we have to do examples in the internet. Yeah. But then meeting you today, that's really like open up another boundary for me to see that. I think that's alhamdulillah, it's very happy to see what you're able to do. I think that's beyond many other people who have supposed to be better capabilities, but are doing less with all the limitation that they believe in their mind.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Abdul Rahim. Okay, before I go to Mr. Taufik, I got one question from the Slido, okay, to Mr. Faisal. Reimagining the context for the local traditional houses, will it be difficult to visualize the old time instead of the typical kampung scenes? What do you think about that?
Yeah, okay, imagining a kampung life is one thing, but imagining in another time period is another thing. So it's not really different, but only that you have to know. That's when it comes to you using the experience of watching like period drama or period films. So from there you learn. Also, I can say that you have to experience. Of course, you have to experience the kampung life, so you know what's in kampung. It's not just about you look at the picture and copy. No, but when you experience yourself, you're going to know more than just a picture that you saw. That's how it is.
Okay, thank you. And then now we go to Mr. Taufik.
Hello there, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. First and foremost, hello, Cik Faisal Mohammed. I think I'm very sort of esteemed to have you sort of present as your body of work. It is very comprehensive, it's not just about, it's beyond architecture, right? Beyond meta. It's not just building, it's also landscape, it's anthropology, it's sociology, it's, literal history, it's interview, it's measured drawing, but, simplified and made effortless and also very inspiring. I think the collection of the images that you showed us in terms of building palaces, urban forms, development forms, as you mentioned, to sort of being published in a historical journal in Germany, I think that's great accomplishment. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Also, I think it's really hard to sort of focus between the body of work and the body of the personal sharing as well, which was equally, if not more, moving as well for a lot of us. So I think on that, I really thank you for that. Beyond the self, I think beyond limitation, at least said that by Masa and also yourself. And what struck me maybe perhaps is to ask. Perhaps if you should share a bit, what were the sort of limitation that you think, that you would like to highlight when it came to sort of the visualization process? Because, all of us working, it's not easy to visualize something, and especially when it's something that is measured and studied, right? So there is an element of precision. So maybe that's my first question. If you like to sort of share, the limitation in referencing photography, measured drawing, literal history, and also like interior, and I'm quite sure GIS, right? Geographical info, the topography. That's my first question. And my second question is, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm from Design Framework, so I deal a bit with research, strategy and implementation of strategies in cities. That's my field. And recently we had Facebook launch itself into a meta. So I want to talk about metaverse, because the renderings are just instances, but what you have, I think you have, I'm quite sure, a digital model of architecture heritage. as a metaverse. So I wondered if you would sort of be inclined to sort of create a heritage metaverse of all this, digital models that you have. Yeah. So 2 questions. Thank you.
About the limitation about to get resource, about to get reference. First of all, you have to bear in mind to do this, art, like I said just now, the phrases, art is never finished. So don't expect the model is going to finish. It's going to build up, it's going to error. Every time you got new info coming in. That's one thing. Secondly, you have to balance between the approaches of to be honored the historical fact and between your design senses, this is when it comes, okay, like the Kota Melaka itself, I can describe it as a 70% of fact, and the other part is my design instinct, which is there's a part that, because this is for example, this description about the palace itself in the Sejarah Melayu is quite general. So this is when it comes your own common knowledge, your own knowledge about the Malay architecture coming in. So you have to balance this between two. And then other than that, this is where you can inject your design instinct. Of course, you are a designer. You're not the historian, which is bare to the fact only. Okay. And then about the metaverse, that one, I'm sorry, I'm still learning about it. It's quite new for me. That's the thing.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Taufik. Okay, now I pass to Jaja. Miss Jaja.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Jaja that study interior architecture design. So yeah, I'm very appreciative of the significant contributions of Encik to the history and the literature of the architectural heritage. And recently I evolved to adaptive reuse heritage building in Perak, which the evolutions of Rumah Parit, Rumah Lama Perak, and Rumah Kutai Asli, which we will like adaptive reuse to serve for the community. So I feel very fortunate to visit the real sites and also very immersed to the valuable understanding of our heritage buildings. So the questions for me is, because we usually as an architect or a designer, we came out all the visualizations for people to reimagine of the heritage building. So I was wondering about the accessibility. Since I have the fortunes to like visit the real site, how about for the future students or anyone in the fields to like have a chance or have the accessibility to like visit their heritage building and like to like visualize or feel the phenomenology of the site. So yeah, that's the questions of me about the accessibility.
You mean accessibility to the things that you studied, right?
Yes.
Okay, this is where it comes to the, like I said, you have to use whatever comes to you to join. Like nowadays we have the pleasure of joining group in Facebook and whatever. So use that kind of thing, which is like me to get this accessibility from, for example, like doing palace, like the Malay palace. I got accessibility from to join a group from the Malay Royals family, like things like that. And then this kind of thing, sometimes you may surprise you that they're going to give you information which is they never been published anywhere. That's the best part about this. And also there's one part of it. You also don't just wait until you got the complete reference. Just do it for start, and you may be surprised that when you show to the people, and some people will come, hey, this is I know this thing, so can I help you? Can I help you to do this more? So this kind of, I mean, don't wait. So this having and then don't just seclude it within your circle. I mean, just architecture circle. You have to join especially like what I'm doing. I'm doing historical building, so you have to join a group from royal family group, and then people who join who interested in history also, and even from overseas people also got information about this thing. So this is where you just absorb those things. So that's kind of thing that I'm using.
Thank you, Encik Faizal.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, next. I pass to Mr. Edmund.
Oh, hey. Hi, Faisal.
Hi.
So, my name is Edmund. I'm currently working in KPF London. I'm also a teaching assistant in the Bartlett and NUS. So, I think the visualization is really well composed and, and narrated throughout this kind of series of vignettes. And to be able to kind of construct the historical Malacca with such amount of details and precision towards each of these kind of historical monuments and artifacts is really admirable. One of my favorite scenes is the palace. And it seems like most of your motifs are more in line with memories, nostalgia, and mementos of the past. And so after seeing all of your hardships, I'm more curious on why do you have to choose to kind of focus on Malay dwellings from kind of commoners like the kampong houses to royals like the istanas, no? Because they are seen in most of your slides too. So does this kind of dwellings meant to you personally?
Yeah, it's meant personally because actually my love about Malay culture is more beyond my university days. Actually, even when I'm in primary school, I was very close to my grandmother. That she is the one who telling me about this Malay folklore, about tales. And then when it comes to the secondary school, I really do great in history. And then when I joined admitted into university, which so luckily for me, the syllabus of architecture school in UTM is more to historical and philosophy, which is like a stepping stone. It's like the missing chapter of the story. At first, when you go to the university days, it's like I'm feeling all the hollows, all the missing part. So that's the thing. And then this kind of thing lives with emotion and also a romanticism element in myself also. It's more than just about love. It's something that I cherish my moment with my grandmother. Yeah.
Oh, that's really sweet to hear. I mean, the amount of dedication you have put through has clearly reflect on your personality and attitude as well. Kind of handling each of the models with care and consideration. Because I know one of the guests, I think Yvonne Shao here, she's really interested in housing, and maybe she can also speak a few questions on it as well. Thank you, Faisal.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Edmund. Okay, now I pass back to Mr. Christopher. You have a second question? You mute? Can unmute yourself?
Hi.
Right.
Hi, yes, Chris here. I just wanted to say something real quick. I think Taufik talked about the metaverse, which is this new thing that is part of Facebook, where you are actually in a VR environment. And I think this is one of a good way in terms of Jaja's question as well, in terms of accessibility. How do you access this this world or this whole environment that Encik Faisal has provided? I think this could be the next step also to how we appreciate all these and in fact not even just see it as reference images but actually experience the space. I think that could be moving forward, because you've done all the modeling, you've done all the work, and that's where we can literally scale up and be in there one-to-one, whether it's VR or AR, to augment it in an existing site for people to see. I think that's where I think we can marry these ideas together. That's just what I wanted to say. It's not a question, but
actually funny enough, 2 days ago I just found out the video about metaverse in YouTube. But you know the video is very general. But the thing is, I don't know. Okay, I got the brief idea lah. That's the thing.
It's like a storage, like you basically
yeah.
And you can essentially have yourself immersed in that space. So it's like watching a movie, but you can interact with people as well. Like everyone can be in the space. So I think that could be a way for people to appreciate the work they've done as well.
Yeah.
Get a sense of scale. Okay, so sorry about that. Thanks everyone. Next.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next I will pass to Mr. Jason first.
Hi, I'm Jason, and from Isa University, currently degree in architecture. So thank you for your inspiration work and presentation. I'm very impressed with what you have done on digital rendering and illustration.
Thank you.
Which I think is quite insightful information for currently degree student, which we just start on rendering stuff. And I have a very general question for you, which is how you start to compose these amazing works and how you imagine and illustrate it onto the digital platform. Because sometimes I find it very hard that digital actually limits our imaginations, and sometimes it's very hard to transfer the information from paper to digital.
Yeah.
So how did you do that?
Okay. About what I'm doing is that keep telling yourself when you already produce some drawing or some sketches, just remember that you can do more. You can give more to your sketches. That's one thing. There's another thing that this is where it comes that, for example, like I'm translating from the classical text, which is quite, it's not really, it's very general, not really specific, but there's some word you have to keep, you have to bear in mind. This is where it comes, you need help from your lecturers, like me. I'm asking about a few of my lecturers, how do you describe this? How do you describe it? How do you describe it? It's like you do your thesis, and then you come to the conclusion. And then there's one part. There's another part which is like I said. Remember, you are not a historian like me. I'm telling myself that I'm not a historian. I'm a designer. This is where it comes. You going to inject your design sense. So maybe from the translation of the text, it's this kind of thing. But as a designer, come this kind of thing. So there's a second, the second shape of what you get from the reference just now, and then also try to compare, like you're doing study and the type of then research, and also like that, and then try to start to sketch up. Try to bring up to whatever module you're going to use, or manual or 3D or whatever, and comes to that. And then also how you the biggest element is always do research. Always find things that available around you. Try to get the best whatever reference that you can get. That's the thing.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jason. I just a bit want to ask you regarding the Mr. Jason question just now. It's quite interesting. All right. How you merge, because we know the istana, the palace is gone already, right? So the character, I don't know. I'm cannot imagine it. How the character is it? Maybe from the book it said that you said from the literature, right? So how you merge it, all these components together to become one elements of the for example the Kota Melaka itself.
Okay.
How you merge it? You have any specific techniques or what?
And this is where it comes when you, like I said, translating translating the text. And for example, like the palace, the throne, like this, the design of the throne. It is said that it's got seven tier umbrellas. I'm sorry, that part is quite clear. And then they got the seven layers of the seat of the sultan, and in the shape of the lotus, the blossom lotus. Okay, you got that roughly idea already. And then it comes to the the detail, you're going to do a research about the what we got, the current palaces throne around Malaysia. You do comparison. And then because okay, like for, especially in Kota Melaka, for those of you who knows that all the custom, all the tradition of the current Malay Sultanate is derived from Melaka itself. So whatever we got today is happened in Melaka somewhere before. So it just go back and forth to that thing. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Next, Miss Yvonne.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, the committee, for inviting me, and thank you, Mr. Faisal, for the great presentation. I feel like it's really quite mind-blowing, I guess, like so much dedication. Everyone is very impressed by your dedication to, build all this 3D, and then like what Taufik said earlier, this is like not just architecture, it's history, it's anthropology, it's not just architecture, plainly buildings, and it's very impressive. And I wonder that if you ever like thought about sending your work to, I don't know, a gaming company or a film production company to ask them to make a film or maybe like make a game out of it, because I feel like it will really fit into, Assassin's Creed like have all these historical kind of city settings, and it will perfectly match that kind of game, in my opinion.
Actually, to be honest, it's not just game. I try to approach you name it, from gaming company or from the museum of Malacca itself. Unfortunately, when I say unfortunately, I think you can guess is that they're not really interested in that. Maybe not now. Maybe in future, someday. Yeah.
Yeah. That's quite a shame, but I think right now probably like my generation, we are kind of like very interested in looking back into our history, into understanding our roots. So probably like now, like after this platform, like showcasing your work, probably more people will be interested to work with you. And my next question would be, it's quite similar to what Christopher has asked earlier. Like, we see that a lot of developments are happening in Malaysia, and then we see developers demolishing old buildings and kampong houses, and we feel very devastated in a sense. And I just wonder, how do you feel like, for example, the most glaring site I would say would be Kampung Baru, and compared to opposite, there's like KLCC and then all those stuff. And then like Kampung Baru is like having all those talks of having redevelopments. How do you like view this issue? Like personally, how do you feel? Like, do you think that Kampung Baru should be like another skyscraper, or should Kampung Baru remain as it is today?
Okay, to me, that it's very sad. Yeah, it's very sad. For example, like you said that for Kampung Baru, because historically Kampung Baru was the Malay reserve from the Sultan of Selangor for Malay people during 1950s, and then it should be. It's not got. I don't say that it have to be remain in the same context. It have to move forward. I believe it move forward, but still, the importance of history need to be remain there. I mean, the first purpose why Kampung Baru exists in Kuala Lumpur should be retained. I mean, there should be come with a commercial element to inject into it, but still the main purpose why Kampung Baru is established need to be take care about it. Yeah, it's very sad if we neglect this kind of thing.
So I guess you're trying to say that maybe we should revitalize Kampung Baru in, something like what Seoul did, like South Korea.
Yeah.
What they do with Bukchon village. I'm not sure if everyone knows, like they maintain the village typology, but they kind of like make it a little bit commercialized to, sustain the like traditional lifestyle.
Yeah, because this community is going to tell the fabrics, the fabrics that happen in the cities, like like Jakarta, they retain the old part of Jakarta, the Kota Tua. They retain as itself. It become it's more than just about an old place. It's for tourism. It also can contribute to the country economics. That's kind of thing. So sometimes our leaders in Malaysia come to very drastic decision to make it. Oh, we want to make it new. We just do it to put a high rise in Kampung Baru. That's not the way. It's more than just. I mean they need that kind of tendency to reach people who know about history first, and then come up with some kind of conclusion. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Yvonne. What a wonderful question. All right. So I also agree with Mr. Faisal. The character and identity of Kampung Baru you cannot throw away throughout the movement or the development. They need to be there. All right. Okay, next I pass to the Mr. Cheng Zui Rui.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Mr. Faisal. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah.
I think what Mr. Faisal is doing here is actually quite fascinating in a way that I believe it could help a lot in the education system and of course, in architecture industry. Because I take it quite personally because I'm the kind of guy who would pick up things or learn things through images faster rather than text. I rather browse through all those graphical image and instead of those long paragraph in history textbook. So the question here is what Mr. Faisal has in mind that you would like to further develop what you are doing now. Are you planning on doing publication or turning into VR? This is also a follow-up questions from Christopher and Yvonne. Like, what's next after this?
Okay, currently I'm working on the three books that are coming up. First is the collection of Malay Palace, a brief history, and the collection the Malay Palace in 3D form is going to be volume by volume. And then secondly, Malay houses, in 3D, and also the brief about each type of Malay houses. And lastly, about the Kota Melaka itself. The Kota Melaka book is going to be collaboration with Ustad Hasanuddin Yusuf from UKM. He's going to do the writings because he's a very celebrated among the history circle. He's a very celebrated writer. Yeah.
I see. Thanks a lot. Another question is, instead of your personal effort in promoting all this, is there anything that we as an architecture graduate or the public can do in order to help promote this further? Yeah.
Yeah. I hope after this, my work will get attention from universities, or maybe try to formalize the digitalizing traditional architecture, not just Malay. I mean, maybe become apart, maybe apart from major drawings. And then it's not going. Major drawing is not just good to be you do the research and then just keep it in the collection. No, it becomes into maybe an exhibition. It makes students, younger people, excited about to do this kind of things. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Look forward to that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chen. Then now I pass to Mr. Afan.
Hi, Encik Faizal again. Okay, Encik Faizal, when we look at your rendering, the perspective about in terms of the angle and the emotion, how you create the emotion in the rendering, can you share some stick for us to, because not everybody can render and people can actually realize what emotion we want to bring.
Okay. For example, like I'm doing the Malay house. Okay, firstly you have to catch up the house itself. Okay, that's one part. The other part, like I said in the presentation, to capture the element of emotion and romantic. This is when it comes your experience coming in. I mean, like you've been, for example, you've been to the kampung and you saw what things that make a kampung. Like you can see from my 3D just now, beside the house, I also include element like you know, the transportation that I'm using, I try to imagine some of the houses from 1970s. So I try to capture this kind of, the car that I'm using is from 1970s. Okay, and then the elements of flower pots around the house. You can tell by that, isn't it? And then got what we call pumpkin and got coconut on top of it. So this kind of thing that makes people because I got comments, reaction from people when I show it in Facebook, like, hey, this is like my grandma house. You know, so this kind of thing, this tiny things you're going to add up to make it. It's like you're telling there's some human behavior happening inside your 3D. Just 3D is very one way of visualize. But when it comes to you insert this kind of element, you're telling a story. So this kind of detail that you need to capture.
Agree. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Afan. Then next, I pass to Miss Amira.
Hi, Assalamualaikum, Cik Faizal.
Waalaikumsalam.
My name is Amira Wani from UiTM Puncak Alam. I'm actually currently on my final year degree. So I actually did a research on Kampung Baru last semester. So I would like to add in your answer towards Miss Cha Yvonne. Yeah, it's because the government proposed a development that actually sweeps all the traditional elements out, and I think that's what the people are very angry about. And this leads to my question: would you want or would you adapt these traditional elements since you had done research on these traditional houses, and to the modern developments or dwellings that showcase Malaysia's identity? And have you ever done such concept, or have you planned out for future projects?
Currently, no. Currently, I just what I'm doing just now, Malay houses. I never yet, and I haven't been involved with that kind of project. I mean, when I'm doing the full-time freelance, maybe I used to involve with the urban design when I working with the architecture firm years before. Yeah. Again, the question again. Sorry.
The question is, would you adapt these traditional elements to the future developments?
Yeah. Okay. It's very important to bring history into future development, because, like I said, this is the objective of learning history. Why we're learning history? What been done mistakenly before, you're doing right in future. But also, it's come to the process where don't take it literally. I mean, like I believe we moving forward. Yeah, we moving forward, not backwards. But of course, it's very hard to ensure 100% the success. Yeah, but you try your best to reflect what happened before to the future, to your proposal, to your design. So history may play the biggest role in it. That's the thing.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Miss Amira. Next, I pass to Miss Summer. Summer Tan.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for that. Hi, Mr. Faisal. It's very nice to meet you. Yeah, and I love your work. It's very, very impressive, very amazing. I think everyone has mentioned already. Yeah, so I have one question. So you talk about, translating these manuscripts into 3D visual art, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if this is the question, how would you translate your life as a manuscript into a 3D?
Okay, first of all, I'm not a writer, but as I said, if I'm translating into words, into literature, I could be described as a very romantic, not romantic like very romantic. Okay, I'm romantic, but romantic as in I always reflect those my golden days with people that I love around me, my family, especially my grandmother, my late grandmother, and my late mother. So this kind of thing that I bring back. This kind of elements of romanticism that I've been carrying all my life. This is the one that I've been carrying into my 3D, as I already mentioned before. The element of romantic in my 3D. So it brings people like, it's very important. I really love when I show to people the 3D that people can recall. And this is like my grandma's house. This is like my mother's house. Things like that. So things like that. You bring yourself to the point of view. Those people that are going to see your work. That's the thing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. That's mean you bring the sense of place towards to your, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Faizal.
Mhm.
All right. Okay. So next, Miss Jaja, the second question.
Yeah. Speaking of, I was like sharing my experience because before I like study about the rumah Kutai Asli and those Malay house, we also do visit the Pakas Zakaria, also located at Perak, which the craftsmanship of the people or the owner of the house, they transform the rumah Kutai Asli from a place to another place. Because of the Malay kampung house, they have the ability to like taking off because they're using the slog technique for the So I was curious about, because I visit those Malay house and I also seeing the revolutions of the Malay people's lifestyle, like from the Kutai Asli, the very originality of the house that evolved and revolutions that expand the house. So this only we can like experience or understand when we visit to the site. So when I was curious about when we like speaking for the commercial part, like they making the Pakas Zakaria that people can go and visit and stay at the homestay. Do you have any idea like if we transform the house from one space to another space, this will lose the sense making of the space, or this is the way to like for us to appreciate about the house?
Okay. To me, it depends. It depends on the approach of the relocating, like you said, relocating the houses, isn't it? Depends on the approach. Like if you try relocate, as in for the original site is going to be like involved with the modern development, so that's the thing. And relocate, as in to preserve the actual condition of the house. But also things like that. And then to bring to it's not going to affect the originality of the house by using it, maybe reusing it, the house like for like homestay. That's very important, how the way of you preserving it. No, whether you relocate or rebuild it or remove or whatever, but that's when comes the importance of you do research first before you relocate that house, that particular building. Though, so you can recognize the importance of the house, the importance of its history, its feature that you need to retain when you do the relocation or to preserve it or to conserve it. That's the thing.
Okay, thank you so much, Encik Faizal.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, next, Mr. Adeline.
Hello, Encik Faizal. Second question, in a way, just like what Yvonne said about Kampung Baru, and if we talk about preserving history, the preservation voice is quite lacking. In just like an example, if you look at Pudu prison, it's demolished. It's demolished. It's quite sad to see, but if you think about it, it can be projected into a commercial, imagine like Alcatraz. So if it were to remain, it can add in like a whole new urban dimension in KL. It's what it teaches us the anthropology. The term prison architecture itself is quite at a loss, and it can also be a historical reminder for people to be good and the function of a whole prison, the history of like the hostage situation in the 90s, and let's not worry about the emotion of the space as it has already been there by default. So like you said, it's more about an old place, a building can teach us lessons, and little perseveration can go a really long way. So it's rather sad to see what happens today, this the gate. So this leads to a question of, since your work, it kind of has a voice that can affect society. So it's, how can, sorry, my question is, do you think your work can see a change in approach in society in terms of conservationship?
Yes, one way I can see is can contribute to how to help our leaders, our politicians, to look into the importance of the preserving this kind of building in our city. Because all this while, okay, for example, all this while people, why I ask, I think everybody knows that before we figure out about 3D Kota Melaka, people may find that very boring about reading history. Yeah, because we read history through text. But when it comes to I do the 3D Kota Melaka, so you can see the Kota Melaka in visual, which is, I got some reaction like, is this Kota Melaka? Oh my God, I got the kind of reaction. So this kind of thing, we can this the elements of visualizing it back. We can help in doing research and to presenting to the politician about the importance of preserving history, things like that. Yes. Also, we never to neglect the importance of the research that come along with it. That's my idea. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Adli. Now I pass back to Mr. Abdul Rahim.
Assalamualaikum again,
Assalam.
and Tuan Faizal.
Yeah.
Very interesting discussions. Yeah, I channel a bit different because sorry, first I forgot to introduce myself earlier on my first questions. I'm a lecturer in architecture also in University Tunku Abdul Rahman. Yeah, and I done a number of things in life also, but I never faced a challenge that Mr. Faizal have faced in his life. So it's a very inspiring. Meeting a life examples of a person who have gone through that, you know. I've said that I've done training before, motivations and all that, but then again, anytime you find examples, not in real life examples, so meeting for that today and this. Now I have two things that I want to mention. One is the just like a statement. The other one is a questions. Yeah, Cik Faizal, looking at listening to what you mentioned about your life and what you have achieved so far. Now I think it's to me, my understanding is quite clear that what push you is your passions that you built from your grandmothers telling you all the beautiful stories. You know, we have our own inspiration, so you have that, and then from your life going to an architecture and all that. So whatever the challenges that you face, you know, from the illness or whatsoever, not your family and all that, but you keep on with your passions. That means what I can see is that where you are now, what you have achieved now. It's not like you are doing these 3D with fantastic jobs because you are responding to your situations. And I'm thinking about the problem that you have, the illness and all that, because I met numbers of people when I was doing all the motivation training. Got numbers mentioning a long time ago. Most examples that I met, friends or colleagues or somebody that been introduced to me, majority of them actually, when they face a challenge, for example, they may got diabetes and they got operation and all that and became a disabled person, so on. They change their job, they have to let go their passion, they let go, but they still strive, they still achieve, they still become successful. One person already passed away, you know, but he became millionaire from a nobody, you know. But he said, I thank God, I thank Allah because he gave me this, and you know, if not because of his situation, he said, I may not be doing what I'm doing today. You know, but in your case, I think he said, wow, you it looks like you're not bothered at all with all the challenges that you face. You know, you keep on being an architect, no job. Okay, I like 3D, I like all these historical things from my grandma. You carry on, and you've done what you have done today. I think that's a salute onto that. You know, is that right for me to say that?
Yes.
Okay. That's on part one. I just need confirmation because I hope you don't mind if I share your story to if I do motivation program again. I hope.
Yeah, please do.
I may call you one day to do some thoughts on that. The other thing is this. Like our topic today, when we talk about beyond limits, to me, when we keep telling people, when we at lecture, we tell students, you must work hard, want to go beyond the limit, break your barrier, whatsoever not. The more we say that, the more we're telling people there is a limit on you. There's a limit on me. There's a limit in all of us. Break that limit. Break that limit. And every time we say that, we want to push them. But it's like sometimes when we keep saying that, we are pushing them against a wall. and then without realizing things, actually we are pushing the students to a wall, and we say, break a limit, break that wall. We say, hello, sir, break that wall. That's not easy, okay? But I mean, I just want your opinion. You know, what I used to tell students when I was teaching architecture, and also when I do training is motivation and all this is, it's not about breaking your limit because there's no limits. Okay, what limit us is because we think we have limit because we are looking at our own ability only 1%.
Yeah, true.
You ask me to do, if you ask me to design a palace, I say, alamak, no lah, I don't have contact, I don't have experience, I cannot do. we set our limit because everybody say, hey, don't worry lah, break your limit. Yeah, but you have the limit too. There's a limit.
Yeah.
But will it be right to say that actually, when we talk about limits, there's no limit is actually what we know is limited. Of course, I mean, it's written in all the holy books. What we know is as human is limited, but then we should look at our capacity of our limitation plus others.
Yeah.
You know, plus others, because looking at what you have done on the 3D, that's what, you know, more into that. You have many others that in your team, for example, that support you in any way, in all many sectors, I'm sure, you know, that expand your capabilities of delivering what you have delivered. Can you can you share a bit of that story?
First of all, like I have mentioned that, first of all, you have to love what you do.
Okay.
That's the key point. When it comes to love what you do, no matter how hard it is, you're going to go all the way. You're never going to find it difficult. There's no term difficult in doing what you love, isn't it? No matter how hard it is, it's going to make you more excited. That's the first thing. The second thing is that, like, also, I believe to get the right person that stand beside you, that going to say the right, it's not the what you want to know, but the things that what rights for you. That's the thing. And then you try to break you try to break your comfortable in your comfort zone. Like me, I'm also joining the historical people circle. You have to come up, for example, I have to come up the phase where I have to facing the controversial question. Is this true? Is this true? Just come up with your answer. I mean, it doesn't have to be right on fact, but you got an answer which it seems like logical to it. And don't take it. I mean, of course, there's sometimes me. I admit it. I got some people that want to ban me about doing especially the Kota Melaka. It's very nowadays. It is very very controversial about Kota Melaka history. But as long you come up with the logical answer, and then what your point of view about it, so I think it's not going to be a problem. And then even myself, for me, I find it more interesting. That's the thing. Keep doing research. Keep finding things about it. Keep telling yourself what you do is never going to finish. Maybe someday, like Kota Melaka, I'm going to fast to someone to continue for it. Yeah. That's the thing.
Right. So, Encik Faizal, sorry, Tia Shazili, I mean, my question became a discussion, but hopefully we all can learn from Encik Faizal.
Yes.
Yeah. Encik Faizal, you mentioned something like, when you do your work, because like you say 70% facts, 30% plus minus, plus minus 30% is imagination, but it's not just purely imagination because you are a trained architect, you are a trained person. You're a trained person, and we all are. But I like that part because So what you're saying just now is that if you try to be perfect, that is not a good way to be perfect, right?
Yes. Exactly.
Okay, all right. Because I mentioned that many times, but today I'm listening to somebody who have gone through that. Okay, thank you very much, Faizal. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you again.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rahim. All right. So next, I pass to Miss Teresa.
Hi, Mr. Faisal. Hi, everyone. So yeah, I'm a local graduate and currently working in a Malaysian architecture firm. So thank you for a pleasant presentation today. Those renderings, right, are really, really done really well in your hand. With your hand, they are so surreal. They're so magnificent. So personally, right, I just like to share my own stories because I always appreciate every single thing that actually have its own unique stories. And like from the sharings, right, I know that it actually reminds me of my time in UPM because we have this so-called task that we have to do our own field study. So my task was actually to visit a mosque in Kuala Kangsar, Perak. So it's a royal mosque, which is Ubudia Mosque. Yes. So currently today it's like more than 100 years. So when I did my field study, right, I mean, besides the architecture itself, we like did like survey, we interviewed the local, we interviewed I think the you call it Tok, right? Tok that actually take care of the mosque. And also we actually interviewed those Muslim about their stories, like how they use the mosque, like they even like generation, like they said they used from their old time grandmas and then from their moms and then now that time like generation over generations. So listen to their stories, actually I would say adding flavor, adding personal touch to the historical architecture itself. So it's really impressive that actually you yourself actually study through all the manuscript and translate the ambience, the environment, the grandness of those times, those era. So on the other hand, I also like to echo what Yvonne had mentioned earlier, because it would be really great that if you are able to work with those in the gaming industry or even filming industry, because I mean that is really a waste, because I'm not sure why they actually rejected you because of own interest, right? I was actually amazed with those Japanese anime, like those animator, right? They create those scenes, like they actually portray their local architecture scenes, even their social cultural, even those cultural landscape scenes. I mean, they portray all this in their anime proudly and really truthful. I would say it's like precise in every single detail, like what you did, what you did exactly. So I'm not sure whether are you able to share like why they aren't interested by the time that you call for collaboration? Is it because of budget?
Yeah, the biggest part that I learned that one of it is a budget. It's not just about gaming. Previously I got 4 offers from movie production, Malaysian movie production. They are going to Epic Movie. They want to use my 3D, but the difference about our Malaysian, I'm talking about the film production in Malaysia and overseas, is the budget. The biggest problem is the budget. They got this kind of dream. They got this kind of want to sell to use this kind of. But when it comes to the budget, especially from the FINAS, FINAS, our Malaysian authority of films, they always have this kind of skeptic about is it going to do it? Are you going to use big budget? We're not going to allocate that kind of thing. That's kind of thing. Even come to the proposal, I even approached Perzim, Malacca Museum for this 3D Kota Malacca. You know what they answer to my email? If this guy going to ask for certain of money, don't bother. You see, from
straightforward to you.
Yeah, from the director himself, not the people that the small one, but
it's not a layman.
And this kind of thing, like it's very pity. Our politician fail to see this importance. The importance is this kind of things.
I thought that was what they tasked for, right? Like to preserve.
Exactly. That's very surprising at first. So nowadays, when it comes to that, you name it, I experienced before.
Okay, so budget definitely is it's considered big obstacles.
Yeah, but still, hopefully in future, there's some people start to pay attention this kind of thing. Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe my second question, like, do you plan to actually have a collaboration with people from other fields, such as animator, or maybe learning new skills, just to push your work to another level, new boundaries? Yeah, perhaps. Yeah. Do you plan that? Are you planning for that?
For my current project, the books is a collaboration between me and University Malaysia Kelantan. We're going to introduce this kind of 3D rendering to them, and then maybe someday after maybe next year I'm to collaborate with the university with the UTM.
Kalam UTM.
Yeah, Kalam UTM, not with the UTM itself, because we're going to, as I've been told, that they're going to be celebration of 50 years of UTM. So we're going to do maybe an exhibition for it. So maybe after that, the circle of people going to see it is much
the
wider.
evolution of UTM, right? Yeah. My final question to you, like, will you be because you've been doing like heritage and you're preserving conservation, right? Will you be interested to rethink the future? Like not reimagine, like imagine the future. Yeah. Will you be interested?
I'll be interested, but because my passion is more into heritage. So, but something from what I'm doing, I can teach to the new people about how to imagining things like I'm doing, like to what they are doing in the future, things like that. How to imagining things, how to generate your idea, how to break the ice, that kind of thing. For sure, we will more than happy to give whatever I can share with young people.
Yeah, because your strong backgrounds or this history, I think if you were be able to contribute, on future development happening, would be great.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for your answer, Encik Faizal.
Okay, thank you so much.
Pass back to you, Mr. Shaji. Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Okay, next I pass to Mariani.
Hello, Mr. Faizal.
Hello.
I'm Mariani. I'm a recent graduate from UPM. So firstly, I would just want to say that your works are very interesting and amazing. In fact, they are just as amazing as the illustrations of the Greek and Roman in the Nat Geo magazine. So they are on par with those kinds of illustrations. So
thank you.
My question is, in your process of visualizing, how do you tell if you've come to a point where the emotions and intentions of your 3D works are properly conveyed to the audience? Like you said, art never ends, but too much of a good thing is a bad thing, or so I've heard. So how do you know that you've come to a point where your 3D works the emotions are already conveyed enough for the audience?
This is a tricky question. Okay. Okay. This is where it comes to, you got to believe also your instinct. When, first of all, when you do this kind of thing, whatever you do, first of all, you need to love yourself. You need to love your art. You need to love what you do. So before you start to try to impress people, you try to impress yourself. So if you yourself look at what you do, okay, sometimes you look at it, okay, I think for now it's enough. Then you come up to people that you try to impress to. This is kind of thing. So that's mean passion is, first of all, when it comes, you have to, like I said, you have to love to what you do. So when you see it, you're satisfied with it. So when it comes to the people, of course, it's going to more than that, isn't it? Yeah, that's the thing.
Okay. And then so I'd like to add regarding what Teresa said about budget. So I just want to add that I hope your future clients that you propose to know that such amazing works comes with a good price. So I wish you all the best in your future endeavors, Mr. Faizal.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, that's all for me.
Okay, due to our limited time, because this is very interesting discussion and topics, okay, I will allow for the last participant, Miss Rufaida, okay, to ask the question.
Hi, Salam, and hi, Encik Syarizi and Encik Faizal. Thank you for giving me the last opportunity to address a question. My name is Rufaida. I recently graduated from MArt Part 2 in UPM. And first of all, Encik Faizal, congratulations on the achievement. Amazing work. And I really hope that the project reach further into AR, where we can feel present in the scenery by the help of technology. I was moved by your story and your hardship, and very inspired by your journey. So, do you have any tips in navigating ourselves through this hardship, or maybe what kind of support you need? The most important things you need facing our limits, and how do you get yourself collected and back together again to face, to continue and reach our goal?
Okay, first of all, I'm going to talk it at what I've been through, and then what I keep hold until today. First of all, like I said, you need the right people that stand beside you, your family, your friends, that are going to say the right thing to you, not the what you want to hear, but what is the right things that you need to hear. You understand, right? And then of course you need the divine help from God. And then you start to believe yourself, if I can endure this current situation, that means I'm a strong person. Everything that happens to us is always for our goodness, for our benefits. That's the key. That's the key that keep me going. And that's the thing. And then always reflect yourself that there's nothing that happened to you is to bring you down, but actually whatever that happens to you is always for you to bring you more and more, and that's kind of thing. And always keep telling yourself, one day, by God, by chance, if you do get what you hope one day, you always keep in mind there's a thing that I will give back to people. That's the thing. Remember that life is not just about you. It's about you and your people surround you, your family, your friends. That's the thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Encik Faizal, for sharing.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Rufaida. All right, so we almost going to the end of our session for today. Okay, thank you so much, our speaker, Encik Faizal, and all of you for the very in-depth sharing. Okay, hope you guys enjoy it and gain a lot of information and insight. Okay, for my last word for today, allow me to present a quote. Okay, first I will present it in bahasa Melayu, bahasa Malaysia, and then I will translate to English. Okay, sejarah bukan seni bernostalgia, tetapi sejarah adalah ibrah, pengajaran, pelajaran yang perlu kita tarik ke masa sekarang untuk mempersiapkan masa hadapan yang lebih baik. It means history is not the art of nostalgia, but history is a lesson that we need to draw into the present to prepare for a better future. Okay, so that now I pass the floor to my co-moderator, Miss Vinci. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Technology Sarizi. It was really very inspiring and motivating to see how Encik Faizal strive and overcome his challenges. I was raised in Terengganu, surrounded with all the traditional Malay architecture. I was also a Malaysia representative that stays and study in Japan and work with our Timber Guru and Aga Khan Award winner, Prof. Dr. Jimmy. So I think all the details in Encik Faizal's works is really fascinating. I really appreciate all the effort there. So thank you everyone for joining us for today's online roundtable session. I hope you enjoy it and gain a lot of information and insights. It's really an eye-opening sharing and benefits a lot to the next generation. Thank you, Speaker Encik Faizal and Moderator Technology Sarizi. Thank you for
Okay.
giving us this interesting and eye-opening sharing, as well as the useful advice to the students and young architects. Here is some announcement. We have our next Archidex event tomorrow, 5th of November, Friday, from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. with the theme Beyond Architecture. We invited Encik Yohanis with us together with our moderator, architect Muhammad Asli Muhammad Jamil. So, this shall mark the end of our session today. Thank you everyone for joining us for today. I hope to see you all in our next session. So do keep in touch with our MASA Instagram and Facebook for the next event and the next session. Do check out Archidex online for more awesome events and activities too. Also, if you haven't already done yet, you can also register for PEN membership at www.mypen.org.my. There are a lot of benefits for architecture students that awaits. Until then, have a great day ahead. Before we end our session, let's have a group photo. Say cheese. Okay. Hold on. I can put a yay there. Okay. Okay, all done. All right. Let's wave goodbye. Stay safe, take care, and we'll catch you next time. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you,
See
Mr.
you all next
Faisal.
time.
Thank you. Thank you so
Bye.
much for having me.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Really love the works there.
Thank you.